Altair 4, gentlemen. I am to transport you to the residence.
Welcome back to the Retro Tech Repair Shop. Today I have with me a Robby, the talking robot. Apparently this has intermittent operation, so let's unbox it and put some batteries in and find out what it does. The toy comes complete with a wired remote control, and apparently it goes forward, reverses and turns, has flashing lights, electronic weapon sound with microphone and speaker. The robot itself takes 3 batteries, it takes 2 C cells that are 1.5 volt, and it takes one 9 volt battery on the remote. Batteries are good. Okay. Switch her on. Microphone first. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am a cheap Chinese toy. Okay, so the microphone function is working. Let's go try it forward. Okay, nothing happens going forward. Reverse. No. And looks like fire. That's noisy. Whole selection of annoying noises. Oh yeah. So I'm going to open up the robot first, have a look inside. Ooh. Okay, it's very straightforward by the looks of it. There's a couple of wires going up here to the lighting display. There's a couple of wires here to this speaker. There is the switch here. In the base there is the motor unit. And then there's a set of connections here that connect the internals to the cable to the remote. There's no sign of the electronic circuit that will do the sound effects and control the microphone, so they must be in the remote control unit. So the question is, the electronic side of it appears to work but the motor doesn't drive. So let's check out the wiring first for the motor and make sure that we're getting the right voltage from the battery compartment onto the motor itself. Okay, so the positive is the blue, and the blue comes up to the switch. .3 volts, and it's in the on position at the moment. We should have 3 volts on the orange, which we have. Switch it off. Correct, right. Motor cable, we've got a grey cable here that goes off to the remote and a green cable. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and put 3 volts directly onto that motor. Let's see if it works. Okay, the bench power supply is set to 3 volts. It's not pulling any current, obviously, at the moment. I'm just going to hold these on to the motor connections. Okay, we're putting 2.9 amps, which is rather high current. I'm going to reverse the leads now and try the other direction. Measure the current. Okay, we've got 2.7 amps running the motor the other way. So obviously the motor is working okay. So we've got to check out the wiring to the remote and the contacts within the remote. The 2 cables we want to look for in the remote are going to be the grey and the green. That board there must be for the microphone and for the electronic sound effects. Let's have a look at that. So on the printed circuit board itself we have a bespoke chip underneath this resin, and that will control or have all the sound effects programmed into it. And the rest of this board, got a transistor, we've got an LM386 chip, which is an audio amplifier, unsurprising, to drive the main speaker in the robot with the microphone, and the rest of the circuit will be for supporting that amplifier. So we've got a few electrolytic capacitors, resistors, a couple of diodes, ceramic capacitor here. Now we know this part all seems to work okay, so I'm going to turn my attention to the controls for the motor. I would say that somebody's been in here before with a soldering iron and tried to repair it by the amount of burnt cables there are. Insulation is damaged here, here, here. Some of the soldering is in very poor condition. This switch arrangement's interesting. With the sound effects, it's just a matter of pressing the contact down. It makes the circuit with the pad underneath, and that's for either side. The drive motor, however, switches the positive and the negative over. So how these work is that these contacts will connect with a common plate, and that'll be the negative, and when you press down on one side, it'll put the positive to the motor through this centre supply will be here. Press that down, it will go forward by putting the positive through this plate, and the negative will be coming through this plate here. And when you press that one down, it puts the positive through that plate to the motor, and the negative picks that up here. A common problem with these is if this plate doesn't make contact here, it's not getting the negative to the motor all the time as it should be. And I can see that there's a gap down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that gap up. This should be held down here, but as you can see, it's a gap. So I need to fix this problem first and then retry it. Okay, let's switch the unit on. Drive forward, drive in reverse. Okay, so that's all working. What I'm going to do is clean all these contacts up, clean the battery contacts up here, sort out some of this wiring where there's damages. I'm going to resolder these back on, either with some new cables or repair the old ones, and then I will reassemble it. That's it, it's all complete. Final function test. 1, 2, I'm a robot.